Hi, my name's Joe Parcell, and welcome to this segment of Take One for Ag. Today, joining me is Bill McKelvey, Project Coordinator for the Interdisciplinary Center for Food Security here at the University of Missouri. The center is a joint program between the colleges of Agriculture, Food and Natural Resources and Human and Environmental Sciences. So Bill, I've asked you to join today and join this segment to talk a little bit about the newest project out of the center, and that's the 2019 Missouri Hunger Atlas. Been going on since 2008, so for the 5th edition, as I understand. One of the things the Hunger Atlas looks at is food uncertainty. A lot of times we hear the word food insecurity, so maybe you could talk a little bit about, is there a difference there, and what is food uncertainty?
So food uncertainty is basically a measure that was developed by Feeding America to try to estimate how many people in a given county don't have enough food to live a healthy lifestyle. It's very closely linked to food insecurity, except that it uses a slightly different sort of scale or measure to determine the severity.
So let's talk a little bit about this most recent Hunger Atlas. So from a statewide perspective, what are some of the measures and what are the trends we're seeing in this food uncertainty measures?
So one of our main findings is that around 14.2% of people in Missouri are considered food insecure, and that rate varies across the state quite a bit. We see that in places like St. Charles County, the rate is as low as 9%, and that's the lowest rate in the state. We see the highest rate of food uncertainty in St. Louis City, right next door, at 23.3%.
Tell me a little bit more about those percentages. We know population varies by county, so can you talk a little bit about what those percentages mean for numbers as well?
It's a very good point. So population really matters a lot, and St. Charles County is the perfect example. So even though the rate is very low at 9%, because St. Charles County has a large number of people living in the county, we estimate that somewhere around 34,000 to 35,000 people are affected in St. Charles County by food uncertainty. We can compare St. Charles County with a county like Adair. So Adair County has a rate of 17.5%, but because of its low population, somewhere around 4,400 people are affected in a place like that.
Can you say anything just in overall terms about urban and rural counties? Is there anything that you picked up on there, or pretty similar, or?
Well, I think one thing we do find is that in the urban core, so whether it be Kansas City or St. Louis, we have higher rates of food uncertainty. And in addition, a large number of people are affected. In the counties that surround the cities is typically where we see lower relative rates of food uncertainty. So compared to other counties, their rate tends to be lower. But again, we run into this issue of there's still many people who are affected by the issue.
Because of the population.
Right.
Okay, Bill, now let's turn to food assistance programs, both public and private, but one of the things the Hunger Atlas looks at. Can you talk a little bit about the effectiveness of those programs in serving food uncertain populations around the state?
Sure. So one of the things we do is we try to measure the effectiveness of these programs, and we do that by estimating the extent to which people who are eligible for a particular program actually participate in that program. So the programs that we look at include SNAP or food stamps, WIC. We also look at free and reduced price school lunch. In addition, we compare the amount of food distributed by the regional food banks with the percent of people who are living in poverty in a particular place. And so what this does, it helps us to gauge how well programs are performing. And again, we see that there is quite a bit of variation throughout the state. We find a pocket of counties down in the southeast region that tend to do pretty well in terms of ensuring that those who are eligible for programs are participating in programs. Where we see some gaps are in places like central Missouri, south central Missouri, around the east central region, and then also there's a tier of counties up around the northern border of the state where it appears that programs are not quite as effective in terms of meeting the need.
So Bill, that transitions us right into, decision makers out there. How can they use the Hunger Atlas to make effective decisions?
Well, they can use the maps and the data that we provide to really look at counties that might have the most need, or look at counties that might be underperforming in certain areas, to either further investigate and to try to find out what's going on in those places. It's also a very useful tool for targeting resources. So it provides an opportunity to see what's happening across the state and in counties in particular, and then work to better address the need.
And the report is available up on the Interdisciplinary Center for Food Security website?
That's right, foodsecurity.missouri.edu.
All right, Bill. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. And again, I hope the viewers go out and take the chance to view the 2019 Hunger Atlas. And to our viewers out there, I want to thank you for joining us on this segment of Take One for Ag. And we invite you to visit our YouTube page and search out Take One for Ag for previous episodes. Thank you.